What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video. This is why do we fear the almost human? The psychology of the uncanny. I know a little bit of the uncanny. That's like kind of seeing the brain, kind of seeing something that's familiar to like human beings, or maybe like a robot or some shit like that, and we get a little bit feared from it because it's like, nigga, that's my brain knows that's not a person, but it looks too similar, so it creeps us out. I think that's what that is. But we're gonna break it down. Let's get into it.
Does something about this
Okay, right away, I ain't like it.
feel wrong? The
Yeah, I don't
answer
like
is
it.
probably yes, but you likely
I
can't
don't like
explain
it.
why. Why do entities that are almost human
That
creep us out
specific,
more than
I really
things
didn't
that
like that
aren't
one.
human at all? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Chase. Today we're going to be
Hi,
exploring the
Chase. That was
uncanny.
not that bad.
Not just the uncanny valley and why
Not
humanoid
that bad.
robots or realistic looking dolls make us feel creeped out, but I want to go a step farther and explore the uncanny as a whole, and instances in life where that same feeling may be invoked. Let's get right into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. I don't want to waste time explaining what the uncanny valley is because I feel like most of you guys probably already know by now. It's not exactly a niche thing, it's talked about all the time now online. If you're watching this video, I assume you probably already know what it is. But for anyone who's
Pretty much.
completely in the dark, the term uncanny valley was first used by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori. Mori spent the 1960s working on machines that were designed to mimic human movement and appearance. He noticed a trend of people generally responding more positively to robots that were more human-like. But this was only up until a certain point. Eventually, the robots reach a stage where they become too human-like while still having characteristics that clearly identify them as being not human. At this point, people begin to react with extreme discomfort and are very avoidant. Mori took note of his observations in an essay written in the 1970s, and the term the uncanny valley was coined. Later in the video, we're gonna get into a few theories about why entities that closely resemble us make us feel this way, but before we do that, I want to try to define what the uncanny actually is.
You, just you, building your app on base 44.
One of the first people to really explore the concept of the uncanny was the founding father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud. In Freud's 1919 work, Das Unheimliche, or in English, The Uncanny, Freud describes the uncanny as the class of terrifying which leads back to something long known to us, once very familiar, which is to say that the uncanny is something that feels familiar and alien at the same time. Something that should feel ordinary or mundane feels off-putting. You see, Freud believed that much of human behavior was driven by repressed desires, fears, and memories. These pieces of you are often buried deep within your subconscious mind. When the uncanny arises, it is this repressed content being driven to the surface. So beliefs that you're more likely to hold as a child when you don't really understand the way the world works yet, like believing in magic, or spirits possessing objects, and your toys being able to move by themselves. When something in the world provokes these old repressed beliefs, the result is that strange, unsettling feeling, the uncanny. To Freud, things like hyper-realistic dolls and machines are uncanny because they blur the line between the animate and inanimate. Our expectations of what it means to be alive, conscious, and human are being challenged. Another different interpretation of the uncanny comes from
It's like I'm just taking it in. It's interesting as fuck. The brain and the mind is so fucking fascinating how it perceives things and how it views things and how it reviews reality and things of that nature. It's just fascinating.
French psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan, who significantly reinterpreted much of Freud's work. Lacan believed that there are three different orders or registers that describe different dimensions of the human experience. These three registers, the imaginary, the symbolic, and the real, explain how we form our own self-identity and how we interact with the world around us. The imaginary is the realm of images, fantasies, and self-identity, shaped by early experiences and identifications, most notably the mirror stage. The
Hmm.
mirror stage often occurs during infancy, when the child is first able to recognize their reflection as themselves. Seeing and recognizing this reflection is when your self-identity begins to form. However, it's based on a misrecognition. It's kind of that same feeling that you get when you look at old pictures of yourself. Neither a reflection or a picture is actually capable of fully capturing who you are. The second register is the symbolic, and it is the realm of language and social structure. The symbolic shapes the way that we think, speak, and relate to other people. We use language to represent real things, but our unconscious associations shape our understanding. For example, if I were to say the word dog, we both know what kind of animal I'm talking about. But your past experiences
True.
shape the way you feel. If you've had
True.
numerous bad encounters with dogs, you probably don't like them very much. Those past experiences might invoke a negative connotation around the word. But I've never really had a super negative experience with a dog, so even though we're talking about the same thing,
That's true. I'm trying to realize, I'm trying to think if I'd have one, not really bad. I mean, I've been bitten by a dog, but it was a little ass dog and it didn't really leave a mark. So it wasn't enough to turn me off from dogs. I mean, I've been chased by a dog and I was kind of like, well, but then to make up for it, my homegirl, she got fucking chased by a dog and her screaming down the street in the block like that was funny as fuck. So that made up for it. I mean, she has a dog, and if anything, she had a bigger dog, so she could.
our associations with that thing are entirely different. The real is the final register, and it resists the other two. When I say that it resists the other two registers, what I mean by that is that it cannot be fully put into words or images. The real is experienced when the other two registers are challenged or fractured, most commonly through
Hmm.
traumatic experiences, where something that is meaningful to us is taken away or torn apart. Imagine you're walking down the sidewalk with one of your friends, and out of nowhere, a car swerves off the road and hits them, and just like that, they're gone. This would
Not them
be an
showing this show.
encounter with the real.
The
You would be
boys.
standing there frozen in shock, unable to process what just happened. The other two orders were just ruptured, because there's no way you would ever be able to explain that experience in words or images. To Lacan, the uncanny is a glimpse past the symbolic and into the real. You're seeing something that isn't alive, but it almost seems like it might be. The boundaries between what is alive and what's not collapse, and the result
Mhm.
is the uncanny. The real is pressing through, something that is
Shit
outside
like
our
this don't get
comprehension.
me.
So does the uncanny creep us out because of repressed
You could
childhood
tell it's fake as
beliefs
fuck.
or a glimpse
That
past the
other bitch in the
symbolic and
mirror,
imaginary
no, the other bitch not in the mirror, the other bitch in the fucking closet, she got me in the beginning, the 2 seconds mark. Yeah,
orders?
she
Maybe
got
that's a
me.
part of it. I'm not the one to say. The uncanny is very hard to define and to put into words, but there have been several other theories proposed as to why we
That one don't
evolved
get
to
me
fear
either.
the almost human. The mate selection theory states that uncanny
Ew.
features may signal poor reproductive health or genetic defects.
That's so fucked up though. That is so fucked up because it when I first saw that this clip, the clip in the beginning, 2 seconds. Let me see, 2 seconds. Where that at? Where that at? It scared the fuck out of me. Like it didn't scare me, but it didn't scare the fuck out of me, but it didn't sit right with my spirit.
Feel
Whereas
wrong
this bitch, I didn't like her. She scared the fuck out of me. She didn't sit right with my spirit, like I'm saying.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI know.
images.
Basically, what I'm saying is that that other shit ain't scaring me. That one did. It was weirder. The other ones I could tell it's just a fucking head, and that just don't get me like
To
that.
Lacan, the uncanny
And bro, I'm all over the place. I'm high, bro. I'm high. We talking about mate selection? Yeah, we're talking about mate selection. We're talking about mate selection. My brain is trying to go back to why that shit didn't scare me. But I'm saying this is fucked up because that other shit kind of scared my spirit and shit. So if it's about mate selection, you being scared, like, damn, my future kids, like, ugh, they'll be ugly as fuck. That's fucked up. Like, damn, is that serious? That you like, damn, I don't think it's that.
what is alive and what's not collapse, and the result
Damn, I'm
is
all
the
over the place,
uncanny.
bro.
The real is
Don't
pressing
smoke.
through,
Don't do
something that
drugs.
is outside our comprehension. So does the uncanny
I'm
creep us
still
out
gonna smoke.
because
I don't
of
really give a
repressed
fuck.
childhood beliefs
Yeah,
or a
I'll be
glimpse
alright.
past the symbolic and imaginary orders? Maybe that's a part of it, I'm not the one to say. The uncanny is very hard to define and to put into words, but there have been several other theories proposed as to why we evolved to fear the almost human. The mate selection theory states that uncanny features may signal poor reproductive health or genetic defects. We evolved to be repulsed by the almost human because they could signal low fitness in potential mates. From an evolutionary standpoint, mate selection involves subconscious checks
The
for
damn thing is
reproductive
stuck,
fitness. Traits
clogged
commonly
up.
associated with the
Fuck,
uncanny, like life
bro, don't you hate that? Cause I use bongs and shit more than I smoke like blunts or joints or whatever. My shit is clogged. I just wasted a hit, and I'm kind of teed. And that shit left a bad taste in my fucking mouth. I hate it here.
lifeless eyes or pale
This
skin
video's on
could
fuck.
indicate infertility or developmental issues. These traits unconsciously
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like trustworthy eyes, not trustworthy to me, and y'all just bogus as fuck. This looks like a terrible picture, like y'all just caught her off guard.
trigger this feeling of
I'm all
rejection to
over the
avoid
place,
passing
man.
on the weak genes.
I'm
I'm kind of going
irritated.
to spoil my own beliefs on this. I think that the uncanny is a conglomerate of a bunch of different things. This is one of the only ones that I think I would count out entirely. Because first of all, I
Mm,
see people that I'm not attracted to all the time, and I would not
exactly.
classify them as uncanny or say that I'm repulsed by them. And besides that, I wouldn't be able to look at a male doll or figurine and feel that same uncanny sensation because I'm interested in women. So I don't think the uncanny valley has anything to do with mate selection
Yeah, it
or
doesn't make
avoiding
sense.
passing on weak genes. Another theory is disease avoidance.
Hmm.
Strange and unnatural features might subconsciously remind us of symptoms of illness,
She's
triggering
just
an
stuck with a
avoidant
bone.
reaction to reduce the risk of infection. Evolution, of course, favored humans who could detect early signs of illness in others and avoid them. Features like odd
Never done
coloring
me
and
dirty.
sluggish robotic movement are often found in figures that fall into the uncanny valley, but they can also be signs of illness. We may be seeing these features as signs of possible illness, invoking an avoidant reaction. The predator
Okay.
avoidance theory states that the uncanny
I remember when this came out and everybody was making a whole all over it because I guess they was putting it into like YouTube got a fucking YouTube Kids. And I guess somehow people was putting this little bitch in the YouTube Kids stuff and it was scaring the children and they made a whole fuss about it and shit.
valley may be a side effect of
She
our
is an ugly
predator
bitch.
detection systems. A being that looks almost human, but not quite, could set off primal alarm bells of spotting a predator wearing a human disguise. This would also explain why the robotic movement makes this feeling more pronounced, because the jerky unnaturalness of it resembles something pretending to be human. This is the other one that I'm not too sure about because, as far as I know, there's never been a predator that closely mimicked human behavior.
That's what I'm about
Since
to
the uncanny
say.
valley is a pretty universal feeling, it wouldn't make sense for
It'll make sense if we had a long ancient predator that was kind of built like us, but not really us. I know that's also a theory about that uncanny shit. Is like we have a predator that's now extinct somehow, but there would I don't know. Y'all be talking about dinosaurs and shit and different species and things like that. I think y'all would have been found that shit out.
it to be passed down to everyone if it wasn't benefiting our survival. Obviously, predator detection
Man, I'm
would be
mad about my
incredibly
fucking hitter,
important to
bro.
early human survival, but specifically
My
fearing
shit is
the
clogged
almost
up.
human and human mimics seems a little bit out there. Unless our ancestors were regularly encountering skinwalkers and Wendigo, it doesn't really make sense to me for this trait to be passed down to everybody. Because seeing a saber-toothed tiger standing in front of you and then seeing a mannequin that looks like it might be alive are two completely different feelings.
That's
The
true.
corpse recognition theory states that uncanny features often mirror traits found in corpses or mortally ill humans. Again, with the waxy skin and glassy eyes, but also the rigid posture and slack facial expressions. These traits make us feel uncomfortable because of a subconscious
Yeah,
association we have between them and
definitely
death.
ugly.
This one is pretty similar to the disease avoidance theory, which is why I waited to cover this one as well.
And when I say ugly, I don't mean ugly like, oh my God, I wouldn't date you. More like just unnatural. Just not my cut. Just weird. Don't like it.
Both of these theories make sense to me. It's just part of your brain trying to keep you alive. And part of staying alive is keeping you healthy and avoiding getting sick. Of course, staying around
True.
sick, dying, or dead people is probably suboptimal for your health and well being as a human. So your brain subconsciously steers you away and says, maybe staying around this isn't the best idea. The other
Got
hominid
it.
hypothesis states that the uncanny valley is a leftover from when we coexisted with other human like hominins, like
So that goes from that one theory I kind of thought of when when I said that there was another predator that looks semi like us that got extinct. So that would obviously be them.
like Neanderthals and Denisovans. Our encounters with these species may have regularly involved competition for things like resources and food, leading to a hardwired caution response for almost human faces. Even though we're now the only remaining hominin species left, our brain may have retained this evolutionary suspicion towards anything that may resemble a separate tribe. Alright, I know I said I'm only counting a couple of these out, and I don't know if I want to count this one out completely, but to me it definitely seems very unlikely. Maybe it's a part of it because I can see how we would be competing with other species of humans for food and resources. But personally, I would not breed with something or someone that I found to be uncanny looking. And we know that early Homo sapiens bred with Neanderthals. There are people in the world right now who have more Neanderthal DNA than you or I because their ancestors bred with Neanderthals. So again, I don't think this one holds a lot of weight. The category
True, because you brought up the theory of humans don't do what's good for them. They be fucking dead bodies. They be fucking animals. They be eating people. Human beings have a history of doing a lot of trifling things and unholy things to animals and different species of that nature. Things of things like that. They've been doing shit like that. Human beings ain't shit. Never ever ever been shit. Never been shit. And never ever will be shit. This will never change ever. There will never be a point in history that a human being ain't gonna do something weird as fuck, like fucking people, fucking dead bodies, fucking dogs, uh, shit like that. I don't even know if I can say stuff. I'm done because I don't even know if I can say shit like that. But just know this: it's true.
ambiguity theory states that we as people like to put things into categories, and we prefer to be able to tell definitively whether something is human or not. If you look at an object, you put it into the category of not being alive. But if that object is a doll or mannequin that looks somewhat like a real person, our brains try and fail to force a classification, creating that unsettling feeling. This one is pretty straightforward and it makes a lot of sense to me. It kind of ties back to Lacan's theory of the other orders being challenged. I used a dog earlier as an example, so I'm going to use that again. Could you imagine coming home one day and your dog is speaking to you fluently? Maybe after a while you get used to it, it might even be kind of cool for a little bit, but your immediate reaction, or at least my immediate reaction, would be that uncanny feeling, because part of what I know about dogs is that they don't speak. So if my
And they
dog
can't
started
do
speaking to
that.
me, it's breaking my classification of what a dog is. Another theory is the violation of social norms. As humans, we have behavioral expectations for others baked into our DNA. You can think
That's
about
true.
something like eye contact. Generally, we all feel comfortable holding eye contact for short durations of time, usually between 2 to 5 seconds. But when you meet a person who is breaking eye contact too frequently or holding it for too long, it makes you feel uneasy. Our brain is subconsciously noticing
Okay,
that
see,
the
I don't
behavior
like
being
that.
exhibited feels like
I
mimicry,
don't like
and it
that.
flags the entity as being possibly
Next.
deceptive or manipulative. Again, this one makes sense to me, and I can definitely see how this would be a
That's
part of
the
it. I've
second
definitely
one that
met
I
people in
just
my life who make eye
don't
contact
like.
for way too long or make it too intensely, so maybe the uncanny valley is just that, but the next step up. It's the same feeling, but just a more intense version.
That
So in
bitch and him, I
conclusion,
don't
we
like
don't
it.
really know what the uncanny is, or why these things
I
that
can deal
fall
with
into the
that.
uncanny
That
valley
ain't
disturb
shit.
us so much. While we don't have a definitive reason for the uncanny valley's existence, it's likely the result of multiple systems overlapping rather than just having one specific cause. It reveals just how deeply we care about what it means to be human, and how violated we can feel when something blurs the line between that
Yeah,
boundary.
those are both.
Thank
I
you so
feel
much for
very,
watching.
very violent with those two pictures you did.
I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new or at least found it entertaining. Also, I need to say thank you guys for 20,000, 30,000, and now
Shout out to
almost
him.
40,000 subscribers. It is really crazy. That is really just mind-blowing to me. My goal was 50,000 before the end of the year, and it looks like we're gonna get there. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Do the same in mind. That's it for this video, man. I'm out of here. Peace.